As a new business owner, someone who's in the thick of it right now, and we were just talking before recording this podcast about the thick of it.
Yeah.
You find ways to relate with other people who've been there, find out what they did, reverse engineer it, copy it, repeat that same success. So this founders type podcast series just seems to resonate with a lot of us in West Texas.
Absolutely. And like you were saying before, there's a reason for that. It is that wildcat, that spirit, that entrepreneurial trailblazing spirit is to make something from nothing.
Introducing Founders Focus with Gina Lewis, a once-a-month deep dive on the BAMBIZTALK Podcast, where we spotlight the legends of entrepreneurship and uncover their game-changing strategies. Join me, Angel Garcia, and the ever-insightful and brilliant Gina Lewis as we unpack the stories of iconic founders, what drove their success, bold moves that redefine industries, and the gold nugget lessons they've left behind as actionable insights that small business owners like you can use today. We will also spotlight local entrepreneurs and thought leaders who've taken the stage at Founders Blend Midland. These trailblazers have already shared their expertise in person, and now they're joining us on the podcast to dive deeper into their journeys, unpack their insights, and reveal the rest of the story. Whether you're looking to sharpen your business acumen, stay inspired, or learn how to think like the greats, Founders Focus is your go-to resource. Catch us monthly on BAMBIZTALK Podcast, where the wisdom of the past powers the success of the future. To the bold goes the glory.
Miss Gina Lewis, thank you for being my co-host.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
And thank you for giving me some homework. I did not expect to get an assignment out of the last podcast. But...
Hey, I think it's you were up to the task, definitely.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
As a new business owner, someone who's in the thick of it right now, and we were just talking before recording this podcast about the thick of it.
Yeah.
You find ways to relate with other people who've been there, find out what they did, reverse engineer it, copy it, repeat that same success. So this founders type podcast series just seems to resonate with a lot of us in West Texas.
Absolutely. And like you were saying before, there's a reason for that. It is that wildcat,
I love that.
that spirit, that entrepreneurial trailblazing spirit is to make something from nothing.
Yeah.
Truly. Like you can do it. And then that's why I think community is so strong here. What people are here to support you.
Absolutely. 100%. This community is on another level.
Yes.
So if you were to summarize what this series is about, what your vision for this series is, what would that be?
So let's start with the title.
Okay.
So we're calling this Founders Focus.
Founders
right?
Focus.
Yes. And I think our hashtag was bold AF, right? And I think that is a perfect, resonance there, because a founder, you can't be a founder and not have boldness, right? There is that quote, be bold and mighty forces will come to your aid, right? That's when you're summoning the gods and the spirits and, all the universal energies, because you're being bold to say, look, I see something that can happen.
Yeah.
It just has to be made to happen. We have to bring it to life. No matter, and most of the people around the founder are saying, oh, he's crazy. Oh, that's never going to work. Or like, oh, why is he putting in so many hours? Why? That's just a silly idea. Right.
Until it's
not.
$13.5 billion.
Exactly. Like, so our focus today.
13.4.
Oh, pocket change.
Pennies.
Today's Founders Focus is on James Dyson. the inventor and owner of the Dyson vacuum cleaner. We've all heard about it. We've all know. We've all seen it on the shelf. And you yourself,
disclaimer,
that's yours.
I'm a fan. I will not buy any other vacuum besides a Dyson.
I need to buy one now.
He's truly invented something totally different.
Yes. Like you always seen up there, it's totally unique.
What is that? Hoover, right? The other vacuum cleaner. And people along his journey told him if there could be a better vacuum cleaner, Hoover would have done it.
Why didn't they do it?
Why didn't they do it? And there were problems with the vacuum cleaner.
100%.
So we'll talk about that too, about how he approached his problem solving. But what fascinates me about business leaders is there's always an inspiration or mentors there that they kind of look up to and pull strength from, wisdom from. Mm-hmm. But one of Dyson's mentors was Thomas Edison.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you ever heard the term Edisonian illumination?
Edisonian, but not those together. No.
Edisonian illumination. So I did not know of this term until you had me do my homework. So thank you for that. But it essentially represents trying something, but keep trying it until you find something that works.
Yeah.
So, when you have an idea, and I think a lot of business owners can relate to this, you'll try something, it doesn't work, you pivot and maybe even scrap the idea altogether. Mm-hmm. But Dyson was relentless determination.
Dogged.
Mm-hmm. He mentioned that. Dogged determination to find something that works.
Yeah. It's iteration after iteration after iteration, because that's why in the business world, proof of concept, right? Your initial kernel of light that could work.
Yeah.
Right. His initial one was made out of cardboard and what? Like tape?
Masking tape.
Masking tape.
I was going to ask you, if you were going to come up with a prototype for a vacuum cleaner, would you use cereal box and masking tape? I mean, there had to be some brilliance behind it.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, yeah. I don't know if I'd look at a cereal box. What did that look like?
That's what I was thinking too. I want to see a picture of this.
Yeah.
But he got it to work, and even he couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
When he first got it to work, he had to keep trying and checking. Oh yeah, there's dirt in there, and there was more than there was last time. It works, right? So that was his little kernel, the proof of concept. This can work. This can be a thing.
Yeah.
Then that launched him on a 13-year journey of iterations and designing Edisonian.
13 years. 13 years.
On this.
Yeah.
Of almost losing his house. Of almost losing everything, going under. Like, the guy was underwater.
Yeah. About to lose it all.
Putting, what mortgages on your home, or,
reverse mortgages. Is that what it's called?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't want to say that word.
Yeah, but that's wild when you know something in your core so true that you're willing to put not just your way of life, but your family's.
You're not on the journey alone.
No, you never are. Right? Rarely.
Rarely.
And he believed in what he was doing so much that he did that.
Yeah. Another one of his mentors was Buckminster Fuller.
Yes, that was an interesting one.
Architect. But along the same lines of thought, his Buckminster Fuller essentially represented pursuing a vision with single-minded determination until you have a breakthrough.
Yeah.
So just nothing else. You have like blinders on.
Yeah.
Single-minded determination.
And, that goes to our show, focus, right? That's a founder's focus. That's another way to look at it.
Truly. A lot of founders talk about how they kind of ditch their social lives, their families sometimes take a backseat, or they find a way to make their family their work. Like all of them are focused on it.
Right.
But there's something about that single-minded determination.
Yeah.
No distractions.
Right. What can you do? really in the business world terminology, that's your MVP, right? What is your most viable product? Right? What's that focus to get that?
Yeah.
Hey there, bookworms and knowledge seekers. Ever wished you could find everything you need in one place? Look no further than the Ector County Library. We're not just about books, though we've got plenty of those, from the latest page-turners to classic favorites. We're talking free high-speed internet, tech classes to boost your skills, and awesome programs for all ages. Kids can dive into storytime adventures, teens can hang out and study, and adults can join book clubs or learn something new. There's always something exciting happening at the library. So whether you're a student looking for homework help, a job seeker needing resources, or just someone who loves to learn, we've got you covered. Swing by your local Ector County Library and see what we're all about. It's more than just books. It's a whole world of possibilities. Ector County Library. Your adventure starts here.
The BAMBIZTALK Podcast is brought to you by our sponsor, Pachuco's Restaurant. Craving authentic and eclectic cuisine in Midland? Well, Pachuco's has you covered. Located in downtown Midland at the ever-so-legendary and iconic historic building at 316 North Big Spring Street, Pachuco's blends rich and unique flavors in a conveniently pleasant and vibrant atmosphere. Enjoy the highest quality barbecue, savory tacos, burgers, and a variety of other mouth-watering dishes that reflect the spirit of a true Pachuco cuisine. Real, authentic, and just plain different. Check out their menu at www.pachucos432.com or call 432-218-8806 to inquire, or better yet, just show up and get your shine on. At Pachucos, where heritage, exquisite taste, and hospitality come together for an unforgettable dining experience. Pachucos, Midland, Texas. Now back to the show.
Yeah.
The most simple, without all the gadgets, with all the bells and whistles, the most simple product or service that you can provide that is going to get people to buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I like about Dyson's approach too is it's not necessarily that vacuum cleaners were his initial passion.
Right. Right.
He always looked at the world with a how can I make it better mindset. And he said in his autobiography, like, walk around your house and write down the things you have problems with or things you don't like. And how many of us have found something we don't like and we come up with like a
that would be
product in our head and don't chase it.
Right.
And then like months down the road,
you see it.
Yes.
No, I love that because, you know, he came from, you know, he went through school, it was academia, right? But he just couldn't do it. Right. It wasn't for him because he came from the school of Edison, right? To where, hey, no, it's observational. You only believe what you see and what you experience. And that's what you experiment with over and over and over and over again. Like, how many iterations of the vacuum cleaner did he have? Thousands?
I was looking at my notes and I don't remember, but over the course of 13 years, I mean, that's a lot of iterations and a lot of people maybe losing hope or not having that same dogged determination, but he stuck at it. You know, another thing about his past that I think gave him that resilience and that determination, he talked about being bullied a lot as a child and not quite fitting in.
Yeah.
And he talks about how he was kind of a late bloomer and during track, when they were all running track, initially all the other males were faster, beat him out of the gate.
Right.
And he could have given up.
Yeah.
And that I'm not a runner. But he stuck with it. And what was so neat about that breakthrough in his life was he found out his endurance outlasted their initial speed.
Yeah.
And so before he knew it, he was running longer than all of the other runners winning races.
What I love about that is how he got there. Because it's not natural talent, right? So it brings up the whole nature versus nurture, right?
Good point.
So he was a mentor of his back then said, just, go and run in the sand dunes. And
gosh, that's such a good part of the story.
Yes.
I'm glad you're bringing that up.
And he realized, and he would just go there at night.
Run in the sand
dunes. He was doing it on his own because he was training. He knew he could beat these guys. He just had to train himself to get there. Right. And what he said, he got a rush. He got a high off knowing that he was obsessing and working on something that nobody else was
doing. He's working harder while everyone else is sleeping.
Yeah.
And I think about that in my own business too. When I run into roadblocks, am I running in the sand dunes? Am I training for this?
Right.
Am I doing things that no one else is willing to do?
Right. How are you sharpening your knife? Right. How are you getting that edge?
I love that. Running in the sand dunes. Yeah. I'm going to put up
sand
dune art all over my house.
We're running through them.
Yeah. Just to really make me focus on gotta be running in the sand dunes.
It's doing the hard things.
Yeah.
Right? Like regularly. Right? Like all the greats were obsessed on doing the hard things. Right?
Yeah. And he could have it's just fascinating that he took that bullying and instead of feeling victimized, he turned it into just pure fight, pure determination, and kicked their
all of them throughout his entire life. Right? Like the development of getting his invention to market. Right? From thought to launch, right? From conception into the market was a heck of a journey where, because he knew he had a product from those cardboard boxes and Cyclo vacuum cleaner. But 13 years of being let down, of thinking, oh, yes, it's going to, oh, no.
So close.
So close, but what do you, and then having to convince people, no, this is a thing. People will buy this. It will work, and you don't have to buy bags, and there's all these benefits. And
he talks about feeling depressed in those moments too. He went through some dark depressions as he was reiterating his product, but he kept sticking with it. The idea of incremental improvements. He was always thinking, if I just make it a little bit better one day, a little bit better the next day, a little bit better one day, it's gonna be the best.
It's gonna be what it needs to be.
Yeah. So
and that you just brought that, we talked about that earlier, is the entrepreneur has two modes, right? There's euphoria and there's terror.
No in between.
There's no in between, right?
Full throttle either way.
And that's where an entrepreneur lives between, right? Constantly, right? On the extremes.
Yeah.
Right? Because as a business owner, when things are going good, this is awesome. This is what it's about to be,
This is what I was meant to do.
Yes, and everything's great.
Look at everything we're contributing to the world.
And then 2 hours later, everything's burning down.
Yeah.
So it takes somebody with a lot of heart. I wouldn't even call it mental fortitude because that gives way.
That's a good point.
It's a spirit that is the support.
Yeah.
Because
there's something
else that's driving.
Yeah.
Right. What's that? When who is it? Simon Sinek, when he says, "What's your why?" Right. Find your why.
Yeah.
Right. Intellectually, okay, I get it. What's your why? Right. But how does that intellectually convert into drive, into the will, where it's not really you consciously, but it's a subconscious drive. That's what keeps an entrepreneur dealing with everything burning down 1 minute just to get it to where, okay, I can breathe. This is awesome. This is great. We're going to the next level.
I wish I could gift that to people.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be a great gift to give?
The gift of Prometheus.
I like that.
I feel it's like fire. If you don't know how to control fire, you're going to burn yourself. You're going to burn things around you, and you're going to hurt and damage unintentionally. But if you go through the hard things of, well, okay, how do you start a fire safely? How do you control it? How do you, make it grow or diminish it when you need to? How do you control it? That's a mastery.
Yeah.
And those thousands of iterations that he went through, that Edison went through to get the first light bulb with the right size filament and the metal density and the consistency.
All under budget control. Finances.
Budget.
Yeah. Got to control that.
So many of them, right? That's the repeating theme of a lot of founders.
He talked a bit about that in his autobiography too, having to make sure he did everything as efficiently as possible.
Yes.
Cereal boxes are pretty efficient.
Yeah, super efficient. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at what Elon is doing with SpaceX.
Really?
With all his companies.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just not a billionaire who's just gifted all these billions of dollars and he's just throwing it around wild.
Yeah.
I mean, the story of SpaceX is crazy. We need to do a founder's focus on
I'd
Elon.
love to do that.
Yes.
His so many breakthroughs that he's had from his dogged determination.
It's dogged determination.
Yeah.
Efficiency.
Streamlining.
It's no coincidence that he's now going to be head of the Department of Government Efficiency. Yeah.
I like to see how that turns out.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
We could probably use a little bit
I think
of that.
we could. Slightly.
Probably time.
We could use a lot of streamlining.
So another thought that Dyson had, and one of his other mentors, was Isambard Kingdom Brunel. I hope I'm not
You're close. Yeah.
butchering his name. But he was a British civil engineer. And his thought process or philosophy was along the same lines of Elon Musk. Just because something hasn't been done before,
yes, I love that.
Doesn't mean it's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, along the same lines, Musk and just all these great minds apply emerging technology in ways never imagined. When I see a cereal box,
you don't see a vacuum cleaner.
I see a cereal box. And I'm trying to break out of that, thinking more to the play side of it.
Yes.
We lost playfulness somewhere along the way as we grow up. But the Dysons of the world, the Phil Knight with Nikes of the world, the Elon Musk of the world, they still have some kind of imagination in them that they can tap into.
Well, it's in making the undoable doable. Making something that most people just wouldn't even be conscious of, to like, no, this is a thing.
Yeah.
Apple.
Yeah.
Everybody has a smartphone now.
Yeah.
30, 40 years ago, that was magic.
Truly.
Magic.
I don't even remember what life was like without a GPS system in my pocket. I mean, I cannot even navigate around the blocks without my phone without Apple telling me what to do and where to
go. Yeah. It's wild. Yeah.
Life changing.
How would you meet up with people? Well, you just gotta make plans before and
you bump into them and that's how you meet them. It's a concept that's like, what? Let's see. Another mentor of Dyson's, Francis Bacon.
Yes.
Former Lord High Chancellor of Great Britain. Is that what you're supposed to do? I think yes.
You're pretty good at that.
Thank you. I practiced. So I'm just kidding. So have you ever heard of the concept of the spider and the bee?
Yes. Love that.
I had never heard of this until you gave me my homework. It changed my life. Awesome. Thank you. Spider works entirely within himself.
Solo
on his own and only produces poison.
Yes.
But a bee works on materials entirely derived from nature.
With his community of bees.
Its community. And produces only honey.
The sweetest natural substance on earth.
Yeah. So I chewed on that for a while, and how toxic it can be to be so internal and on your own and isolated. But community, building with others, convincing a team to be crazy with you.
Yes.
Is the key.
That's the key. That's the key, right? Because nobody does it alone, for one, right?
Yeah, and Dyson, with his employees, he didn't want them thinking like businessmen out to make just a profit. It wasn't just about that.
Right.
He wanted them to think on a whole other level. He was like, there are 5 billion people out there at the time. There are 5 billion people out there thinking on train tracks.
Yes.
Thinking a cereal box is a cereal box. He was talking about me. He was like, there's
you felt
Gina. I know. I feel offended. Thinking what they've been taught to think. We were just talking about that with you going for your college education.
Oh,
we're taught there's a certain path.
Yeah.
You got to take in life.
You got to do it because you're told that that's what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
We feel this kind of internal failure, even though there's no actual failure.
Right.
We feel this internal failure when we don't fit that mold.
Yeah. And then what do you do with that? Because then you're left with, well, I didn't reach those expectations. Those expectations were set for you outside of yourself.
Yeah.
And I think what Dyson was doing with his team, because only a business person who goes by the numbers and numbers alone could ever come up with a concept such as planned obsolescence.
Say that again.
So,
what?
So planned obsolescence is knowing that what you purchase is going to be useless in a year, 2 or 3, and then you have to buy another one.
Okay.
Yes, consumerism. Right.
Sure.
That's what has generated this flood of consumerism.
Products. Just
because we need the new phone, we need the new TV, we need the new car, we all these things.
Okay, I get it. Planned obsolescence.
Planned obsolescence.
Took me a minute.
It's okay.
I'm an engineer. Trust me.
There you go.
You can trust me.
But only somebody going by the numbers could come up with that.
Yeah.
Right? Because why? Oh, because we need recurring revenue. Right? I get it. I in the business, I need recurring revenue, right? For sure. But I mean, you're gonna make your product inferior.
Yeah.
So that it breaks sooner. That's to me.
What's wild though is Dyson didn't do that.
Yes.
And I did think about that while I was doing my homework. I was like, how does he continue? My Dyson has been kicking 4 years, just as strong as the day I bought it.
Yeah.
I'm like, how does he have repeat clients? Or is that not the goal? He's doing well.
Obviously, 13.4 billion.
Obviously well. Yeah. And I mean, I think he could build it so that you have to get another one every few years. I really respect that he didn't.
So his first version, the G-Force, that was manufactured in Japan, right? It sold outrageously over there. The thing is, the Japanese really don't have a lot of space to vacuum. But it sold wildly because it was different.
Yeah.
And they also manufactured it to double as like a furniture piece.
It's almost art.
It was art. Yeah. Right? So it was just...
Don't put the Dyson in the closet. I want it out.
I want it out of here, yeah. For sure. So, and then what is that? And then, of course, when he came to the Americas, the United States, everybody has huge swaths of carpet.
Yes. Multiple stories, floors.
They all need vacuum cleaning. And it is a brand, because now over here you're fighting with Hoover. You're fighting with the well-known, decades established, inefficient, but huge brand name.
Yeah.
That your grandmother would swear by.
Absolutely. Hoover was in every home.
That was the only, that was it.
Yeah.
That was the only horse in town, and then you have these personalized salesmen who would come to your door to demonstrate right in front of you, put some dirt on your carpet, like, and then they clean it up. Oh,
I used to love those demonstrations. I secretly, you know how you get scared when people come to your door? I would be like, oh, they're here.
They're here.
Come on.
So you went, no, we already have one, but
I just wanted to see you vacuum. I just wanted to see you clean for a change.
I bet you're like, can we test mine?
Oh.
We'll bring out the Dyson.
That would be funny. But it brings to mind those incremental improvements. It never stopped incrementally improving. And Hoover built a great product and set sail on that,
right, and
just rode that.
Right.
Dyson continues to reiterate, redesign, improve.
Yeah.
And that is, I do have to say, even though my vacuum is great, they have since come out with several other models. And I'm like, this one also makes dinner. I should. I'm just kidding.
The Dyson vacuum cleaner. Well, actually.
A what?
So, not the dinner, but his vacuum cleaner is so versatile to do so many things. Like, it's actually a great dry cleaner, pet hair, dry cleaner.
Yeah.
You can literally iron your clothes with it.
I mean, right? Great. Yeah.
And that was another point that I'd like to top on, because when he would pitch his idea, it's like, it could do this, it could do this, it could do this. It's
almost overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. So he just said, look, you know what? We're going to laser focus it in. Mm-hmm. It can do this for you.
Yeah.
Right? So most people don't know that it can also double as a dry cleaner.
I can't say I've ever dry cleaned
most people
my
don't know
clothes with it. Yeah.
Right? Because
I bet there are YouTube videos.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay. You know what I'm going to be doing. I know you're going to be doing the same thing. What?
I think I'm going to go buy a Dyson first, right? After this.
We recruited another one.
But, I think that's in just the business aspect of it. He was very, that's what creates innovation.
Difference for the sake of it. And everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Difference. Yeah. That was wild. That was one to chew on.
Be different for the sake of it. How is your business different?
For the sake of it, though, is what got me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to be different.
Just to be different. Because
that's true.
There's a difference between differentiating yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But just for the sake of it, well,
what's the point?
Right.
Yeah.
So there has to be a guiding point there.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, well, I'd have to chew on that for a little bit. But the way things have always been done, there's always a way to do it better.
For sure.
And almost a difference for the sake of it is a journey to find that better.
I like that. It's like a tool.
I think so.
To get outside your head.
Yeah.
Okay, this works, kind of. Well, everybody uses it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But why just stick with what just works?
Right. Okay, I'm going to make this better.
Yeah.
There's some limitations here. I don't know what it is, but it's going to be different. Okay.
For the sake
what is that?
Mm-hmm. I like it. It's crazy. It's wacko.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it takes a little bit of that craziness.
Yes. I think that's a great, that's a consistent trait of founders. A little bit of craziness.
With all due respect.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, talking about Elon, right? Like, his goal is to get the human race to Mars.
Yeah.
Right?
Difference for the sake of it.
He knows the chances of that are probably not good in our lifetime, if ever. But
I think he believes they're good. I truly do.
Eventually, I think he thinks we can get there.
I think he really believes.
But I think it's a setting of that massively transformative goal.
Mm-hmm.
This massively transformative purpose
like
that drives everything else. Because Tesla's not a car company.
MTP. I'm living my MTP.
Yes, right? We should make some shirts.
My license plate.
Because Tesla's not a car company.
No.
It's a tech AI company.
It says so many. It's a game
so
changer.
Much, yeah, because all of his companies kind of work together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it leads into that. Him being able to catch a 22-story rocket with chopsticks.
I know.
Like, what? That was just amazing. You know, every time you see his launches and they come back down, like, oh, that's
you did that
so
movie where they catch a fly with chopsticks.
Yeah.
I bet you. I bet you. I have vision into this. Elon Musk was sitting on the couch like, I could catch a rocket. You catch a fly?
That is so him, right? Because doesn't his volume go up to 11? Instead of 10, it takes it one further. And that's from a movie. Just
one further.
I think that's
Why
from
not?
Heavy Metal.
Okay.
Like, turn up to 11.
I love that.
Yeah, Elon, and that's you're talking about that earlier. Keeps it fun.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps through the eyes of a child. Right? Getting biblical here, right? And now it truly is through the eyes of a child. We can see we don't have these conditions that we're told from the outside how things should be. Right? We're observing the world as it is and making we're making our judgment on it, call it what you will, right? But what's objectionable that we observe?
Mm-hmm.
As a child sees a whole world, and it's a big mystery. The child doesn't think they know everything.
Yeah.
You know, that's why teenagers are so smart, because they know everything, right? I used to know everything. You know, and then eventually I learned that, oh, no, I don't. There's so much I don't know.
So my son's currently going through that. There's part of me that thinks he might know everything. I wanted to be one of those moms that was like, you don't know it all. But I'm like, oh, wow.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, teenagers, they know it all. But, yeah, just looking at the world with what could this do? Mm-hmm. What could this be?
Yes.
Mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I also noticed a theme with founders. They have an inner scoreboard, not an external scoreboard, that they define their success on their own terms, not necessarily what mom or dad or
what their competitors
think.
Yeah.
It's what they think is authentic to themselves.
Yes.
There's a true authenticity there. I think that helps them be more successful too, because they truly believe in what they're doing. It's not a fake. You ever work a job where you're like, happy to be here. How can I help you? I have never. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No.
Because you did that pretty good too. Like,
thank you.
I practiced that
a bit. No, but truly believing that you can change the world or in what you're doing. So that's purpose.
Yeah.
You don't have to sell when you truly believe.
That's what he was saying. Right. So, yeah, he had a salesman going out there trying to sell, and nothing was happening. He was just wasting money, spending money. So then he decided to go sell himself. Who better to be the initial one than the founder, than the inventor themselves?
Because he probably had a ton of free time.
Go
knock on doors. But he had that in him, that if that's what it took.
If that's what it takes, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, and it is the competing with yourself part, right? Because every day is a competition, you know, compared to yesterday, right? How am I incrementally improving the business? You know, what's out there that I'm not seeing? What am I not aware to? Where, you know, getting the whole 360 scope of your market, your competition. You have to know what they're doing, but you're not competing against them. That's kind of how Dyson sees it. That's how Phil Knight saw it.
Yeah, it's not a competition against what they're doing. He's different. He's doing something different.
And with Phil Knight, he was actually trying to help the company he was working for be a great shoe company, selling, and then he started selling shoes just in general, and that's when he had the concept hey, I'm going to make my own shoe.
Yeah. Right? And that's when it changed.
That's when everything changed. Yeah. And Dyson was just this juggernaut.
What's fascinating is when, people don't see the 13 years of hard work. They see the moment when things actually break through.
Overnight success.
Mm-hmm. But the game changer, once he had a phenomenal product, was that he was willing to go door to door. He was willing to do the hard work. Phil Knight talks a little bit about that with Nike as well. He was willing to be 8 hours on a train or go without food or, just whatever it took.
Whatever it took. And he the team that he attracted, right? Because his one salesman kept calling him. Let me sell for you. Let me sell for you. And Phil's like, I don't have money to pay you to sell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And he brought him on anyway. Yeah. After years of him just bugging him to death. He was like, okay, come on. But he believed.
There are so many incredible stories of companies that started with people working together and not getting initially paid for it.
Right.
I keep banging on the table and people are going to be like, what? Who is that angry gorilla? Netflix chaos monkey. That is my spirit animal. I'm just over here causing chaos. But just having a group of people that are willing to go all in and believe in the same vision and dream.
Yeah.
And then get the payout.
Yeah.
The payout's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. Right. And I think it was, I forgot who his mentor was that said it. I think it was Buckminster Fuller, who said that, the money will come, right? Was it him?
That. I don't remember who said it, but yeah.
If you just stay on target, right? Mm-hmm. Stay on where you're on your path, and don't worry about the money.
Yeah.
Money will come. And my mentor, Michael, that was one of his things. Keep your head down, keep working, good things will happen.
Entrepreneurs and small business owners, are you searching for ways of taking your business to the next level? BAM is your answer. We specialize in crafting high-performance marketing strategies that put your brand front and center right in the palm of your customers' hands. Not only can we create a premium website full of features that optimize your social media and digital marketing presence, but we ensure that your brand gets multiple views from your target audience and even those visiting your competition. BAM is your go-to solution in the Permian Basin. But we're not just about digital and social media marketing. We're a one-stop shop offering a spectrum of services, including business mentorship, strategic planning, market research, and access to capital. That's right. We can get you funding to expand your business. With BAM, you're not just getting a service, you're gaining a partner committed to your growth for the life of your business. So why wait? Kickstart your journey to success today. Call us to set up a free consultation and discover how BAM can help your business soar above the rest. 432-247-8840. Call today and get your business launched.
Right, don't chase the dollar. Don't chase it.
Tell me about Michael.
Michael was a serial entrepreneur, successful several times over in his early days. Born and raised Compton, California.
Straight out of Compton.
Straight out of Compton, Compton Mike, in the 60s, when Compton was transitioning, really, really hard.
Yeah.
Hard upbringing. But he was entrepreneurial from young, and he had so much wisdom with him. He started his first multi-million company from scratch without an education, without a formal education. Went through high school. Right?
Wild. What was that? What did he do?
So he owned several businesses. One of them was a white tablecloth restaurant because he was also a chef.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Many talent, very talented individual. He started off as a farrier. You know what a farrier is? A horseshoer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He has his own fence building company. He used to build barn dominiums and things like that. A construction company, but then what really set him off was he owned a plastics manufacturing company. He had 277 employees.
Wow, that's a big.
He would work. His customers were like Gina, Boeing.
Okay.
There was
Intel, a huge market need for that.
Right, IBM, all these. I used to work for AMD, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I used to sell them." We used to talk like that.
Wild. He'd have stories.
Yeah.
About,
yeah. And so he built a factory for Intel or supplied them with all their needs, plastic manufacturing needs in Ireland. And then he said, well, after that, he just retired.
Why not?
Right? But I mean, he didn't stop. I met him because he was volunteer teaching at a local university.
I love that your paths crossed.
That's the reason I think I came back to West Texas, and two, why I went back to school. Because so I moved back here. He moved from Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, and I moved from Austin, Texas, to the Permian Basin the same year. But we didn't meet till 5 years later.
What?
Yeah, we just moved here at the same time.
Wow.
I came back and he was here for the first time. And I met him when I went back to school late in life. He was a business professor, and I have lots of college hours because I have, I've changed majors many times.
Serial learner.
So, yeah.
Lifelong learner.
And I walked into class, and there's this guy who doesn't look like a professor, doesn't talk like a professor, but very professorly. Huh. He was one of those individuals that he could fit where he needed to fit.
Yeah.
But still be completely adaptable in his own element and unique to himself.
I wish I had met him.
Yeah, absolutely. You would have loved to have met him.
He truly lived the money will come story too.
100%. Yeah. He lived it. He preached it. He had all these sayings that he would say over and over again, and the timing was right for it to say.
I love that.
Like one of his biggest sayings that I'm going to get put over here on the wall is keep it fresh, new, and exciting.
Why not?
Right?
Why would you do anything different?
That's
keep it fresh, new,
and exciting, right? Because that's the only way you keep your eyes ahead.
Yeah, involve.
Keep things evolving, keep things moving forward.
I want that for all of my employees. Every day I want them to walk in feeling like this is not work.
It's a brand new day.
It's fresh, new, and exciting. It's an adventure.
Yes, that's what it was like, right? That's
nice.
Exactly what he was trying to say. This is an adventure. Like we're talking about, as a child seeing the world with open eyes. Mm-hmm. That's how he lived his life. Another one of his quotes is live life like you stole it.
Yes. That's a good one.
Yeah.
You got to run with it.
You got to run with it. You got to go.
You get one.
Because they're coming after you.
That's right. And it is.
If you stop,
yeah,
you're caught.
Live it like you stole
it. You can't sit idle, right? What's that another biblical thing? Idle hands produce, I forgot what that was,
evil work or evil deeds or something like that.
Because you're stagnant, right? It's water, right? We're made of mostly water, right? What happens with water when water pools up and becomes stagnant? Becomes sour, nasty.
And toxic. Water's life-giving, but it can turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if water keeps running, the current keeps going, you got fresh, lively water, right?
Really wish I could have met him. So I'm seeing themes throughout all of these founders.
Yeah.
And if we could summarize, give people, okay, here's the recipe.
Oh, well.
Here's what it takes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there's always a little something in their background, their childhood, some kind of tension or challenge or obstacle that they had to overcome.
Overcome is the key word.
That they had to overcome.
Because we're all faced,
all of us,
we're all faced with certain things.
We could all say we had that.
And we all have the choice of which way do we go. Right? But how do we choose to handle that situation? We either choose to be the spider,
run a sand dune,
or we have the choice to go run sand dunes.
Yeah.
And then, hey, I'm gonna work around this. I'm going to work through this. You know, I'm not going to just sit back and say, oh, okay, well, that's what it is. Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's a saying that's so, I get it, but also it's like, oh, that's defeating.
Have to be reminded of it often. Yeah. Why is it defeating?
Because I think you're saying that I can't do anything about it. I have no power, no control.
Right? I see what you're saying.
And as a founder, that's kryptonite.
Yeah.
You know, what do you mean no control?
You want all the control.
I need control.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like if I don't have the control, then what are we doing here? That's what happened with Apple and Steve Jobs getting kicked out from his own company.
Yeah.
Fired from his own baby.
Yeah. Can't imagine.
And then when he comes back, he has total control. Yeah. And then what happens to Apple?
Just saying.
And what happens to Apple at that point?
Apple becomes Apple.
Apple, right?
Yeah.
There is no Apple if Steve doesn't come back.
Yeah. And regain that control. That vision.
And you know, he was one that he was dogging, right? He like what do they say? Reality bending. You know.
Reality bending.
Yeah, like he would make you believe something.
Real?
Right. He would make you believe something so much that you had no choice but to just go into it, but you went into it with all your heart.
Did you believe it too?
Yeah.
So they have some kind of obstacle in their childhood. Dogged persistence to the point of potentially losing other things. Like dogged persistence. Looking at things from a different angle. Yeah. Not everything is as just what we see.
Right.
What else?
I think it's just the not quitting, right? The
not quitting.
Consistency. Right? Because the only time you fail, really, is if you quit.
Stock market comes to mind. I'm just kidding. Don't sell.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. So, the only time you fail is when you've called it, when you've tapped out.
Said, all right, I'm done, right? And you know, from personal experience, I have before. I've quit, right? I've quit. I used to have my own businesses before I started this, and I quit. I was like, okay. Because things happen, I'm like, okay, well, I just can't come back from that. Now, looking back, I probably could have.
You could have, 100%.
If I really wanted to, and I really tried to figure it out, I could have come back.
Truly.
Right? But at the time, I was like, oh, you know, it is what it is.
On the flip side, I almost worry that I have too much dogged determination. I won't quit.
I won't quit, yeah.
And I wonder if there's, if you could talk to all these founders and be like, yes, I hear you talk about dogged determination, but do you ever think there's a point where maybe you should be like, this is not working? I guess pivot is, they don't quit. They pivot.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I am fiercely determined. And if I get a no,
watch out.
Another level.
Here comes Gina.
That's right. It's going to happen now. You just double dog dared me.
You just said yes. You don't even know it.
I love that. Did I hear a yes?
That's what I heard. I would bet most founders would say, yeah, there is many points where intellectually we're like, okay, yeah, this needs to stop.
Needs to call it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to put a third mortgage on my house. That's probably a point where
people do, though.
They do. But the vast majority, when they're trying to build something that nobody else sees the value in, 99% of people are quitting.
Yeah.
Because, where's my wife and kids going to sleep? Where's my family going to live if this does fail?
That's when I pull out the speech. Do you know how other people sleep in the world? Some of them don't even have tile floors. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
If we have dirt floors, you're still alive.
Yeah. Right?
We could do dirt floors if we needed to do dirt floors.
Yeah. I think some of us could.
Yeah.
And those, I think that's the rare few who really build something, right? Like, and also there is, like the whole growth mentality, right? Keep it fresh and exciting, keep going, right? Keep evolving. There is a lot, business owners, will stagnate. It's a plateau.
Yes.
And once you're in that rut, you're in a trench, you're in a pit, and it takes twice as much effort to get out once you're dug in. Right?
So yeah, that was another element. They have some kind of obstacle in their past they had to overcome. Dogged determination, constantly growing, and are looking. Sorry, the third one was looking at things with a realm of possibility.
Yes. Yeah.
And the fourth would be constantly reiterating, re-improving, constantly improving.
Right. That's
not stagnating. There's probably a genius word to fit in there. Just insert that
insert
right
that
here.
Genius word. All you geniuses
that's what
out
it
there.
Is.
That's what we're talking about. But yeah, so there's some core elements, that in different variations for founders.
Yeah.
But that you're right. They do have something that pushed them there. Yeah.
For people who are thinking of going off on their own and starting their own business, which we're in a world of possibilities.
Yes.
The world is our playground. Studying these founders and taking those little nuggets and applying them. There's value in that.
It's like there's different types of mentors, right? And there's those ones that you have personally that right? Like Michael was to me, like my father, and I'm sure you have people in your life that you talk to and they help you, and you just have to think about them like, okay, get your head right. But then we're also mentored by books, podcasts. That's why you and I are here.
I love it.
Because we're talking about our mentors. Dyson had how many mentors throughout time? His Francis Bacon, like that's one of my guys. Like I love that dude, right? Because he did so much, on his own. And that's one of Dyson's heroes.
Yeah.
And you have to pull standing on the shoulders of giants.
Oh, I love that.
That's what you have to do, right? Because nobody ever does anything from scratch.
In a vacuum.
Oh! But very true, right? Very appropriate. Yeah, you're right. Nobody, right? Because even Elon, right? The only reason he has these awesome chopstick, rocket catchers.
Can we redo that movie with just a clip?
Right. He was standing on decades, hundreds of years of scientific development.
Think about future generations who are going to be standing on the shoulders of Elon Musk.
Right. Yes.
What are they going to be chasing after? What are they going to be doing?
Wild, right? Because at that point, AI will have advanced so much. Not just AI itself, but quantum computing will have advanced so much.
I don't know if I want to talk about that. That's stressing me out.
Well, I think that's what Elon is setting us up for.
Yeah, truly. I mean, it is in the world of cybersecurity, which I live and breathe every single day. Quantum computing. We always have to stay ahead, think ahead, evolve, improve. And we have this challenge out there of quantum computing. We're totally segueing this conversation.
Yeah.
But along the same lines, you can't stagnate. You can't get stuck in it's unsolvable. The game is won. Checkmate.
Yeah. You've
got to figure out how to tackle that next problem. And that's currently what I do in my free time.
Well, I mean, what better way to spend your free time? Yeah. Honestly, right? Figuring out problems.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because entrepreneurs, that's what we do.
That's what.
You walk through the door, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
How do we fix it?
When I walk through the door, there is a problem.
That's why.
I've heard that before. No.
You know, and I think that's what makes like people like Dyson feel nice.
Mm-hmm.
There was a problem.
Yeah.
Right. Like you said, you walked around his house.
Yeah.
And took notes. Right.
I'm gonna start doing that. Truly.
You know, and really, I think it helps you to start to, yes, get ideas. So Hemingway, right? Ernest Hemingway.
Love it.
Writer's block, right? All artists, all writers go through writer's block, right? Well, he had a technique. I hope this is Hemingway. If I'm not, somebody please correct me here, but I think it was Hemingway who he would, if he had writer's block, he would, like, wherever he was, he would look at the most minute detail. Say if there's a building across the street and he couldn't think of anything to write. Well, he would start describing the first brick of the building and then expand from there. And before you know it, he's rolling.
He's flowing.
Yeah.
That's really neat. I knew, didn't he kind of isolate himself as well? And, was definitely one with nature and got his inspiration from nature. Yeah. But experiences. I'm trying to think of how I can
revolutions.
Apply that in my own line of work. When you're with a block, you're struggling with a block, just taking the most basic problem and start chewing on that. And then before you know it, you're feeling it. You're like
you get into your flow state.
Yeah.
Right?
Your flow state,
right? Because that's what you're doing by taking that minute detail. You're releasing the expectation that you have of yourself to write or do something great. Right? We have this expectation. Okay, I'm gonna knock this out, and it's gonna be all awesome and great. Wait, how do I get there? You know,
there's a problem.
There's a problem.
One problem.
Breaking it down to basics.
Yeah.
And maybe looking at it from a different perspective and shaking it up a little bit and almost using the law of randomness, right? To almost like throwing turtle bones. Okay, where do these lay? All right, we're going to go from there, right? So it kind of helps your mind release that expectation of you having to produce something now. Where's the fun in it? Where's the mystery? Where is the I'm going to open my eyes and see all possibilities of how this can come together. And that is a trigger to get you into flow state, right? Because getting into flow state, there's a resistance, and then there's that. It's like a rubber band. There's the resistance, then there's the release. And that release is you diving into your flow state.
I don't know if now is a good time to mention it, but I have never heard of throwing turtle bones.
Oh, no? It's just.
Is that what you wanted me to take away from that? No.
It's just an ancient shaman kind of prophetic.
I learned so much when I talk to you.
I can tell your story by throwing your future by these turtle bones, the way they light out. And the shaman would.
Okay, that vaguely rings a bell.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard it before. It's been told in stories here and there.
Every time we talk, I learn all kinds of stuff, and I walk away with just this mind blown.
I've been accused before of having just a ton of useless information.
All those college classes.
College. And,
I love it.
And I've been a bookworm since I was a kid.
Yeah. Are you? Yeah. What are you reading now?
Right now, it's a Joe Dispenza, Superhuman. I'm reading. What is the other one? I always reread The Alchemist.
I love The Alchemist. It's an easy read.
Quick, easy.
Which is why it should be read over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
What is the Superhuman one about?
So it's basically tapping into your spirit self, your true self, right? And helping you to align your life. By knowing that there's something greater than physical reality, and not just knowing, but how to communicate. It is very spiritual, right? but it's scientific spiritual.
Okay.
Right. Where, it's getting you to get into your different,
tap into your
different states of frequency, right? Like alpha, beta, theta, mind states, of when you're between your wake and your dreaming self, and how to get there purposefully to help with clarity, to help with just your own conditioning.
Wow.
And
who couldn't use a little clarity?
Always.
Yeah.
And we could always use help from the spirit world, the other side. Right?
That's another thing about finders or founders, not finders. I mean, same thing.
Yeah.
So they all typically are readers, or at least consumers of vast amounts of information and knowledge.
Yeah.
And we should start a list. And that way, every time we do one of these episodes in this series, we can be like, okay, you can see this consistently throughout every single one, or maybe even find a new thing that we add to the list.
Okay.
That, because we have so many things that just everyone we've talked about, yep, they've got that.
They got that.
They've got that.
Right. So maybe there ends up, I'm just projecting here, maybe there's a list of 20 things, and most founders check off like 18, and there's just a couple random ones.
That one crazy person.
It's got all of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure Elon, right? Because he has childhood trauma, the whole deal,
Have you ever, so I'm reading I think it's the SAIC success story or success principle, but it's definitely about SAIC, Science Applications International Corporation.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know about this company. Well, a lot of people do know about this company, but some people don't. So they do a ton of classified projects for the government. But how this company got started was just one genius physicist that was working for, I believe it was General Atomics. He wanted to go off and start his own thing. But his vision was for taking the problems that the U.S. government had that no one else could solve, and getting the brightest minds to solve that problem, literally create solutions for the government.
Yeah.
And no one else is in that space. No one else is doing it. Wow. So there's no competition. It's truly just them. And he found 3 other people, I believe 2 or 3 other people, to join him on this journey. They deferred their salaries for a year because they believed so much in working on this that they were willing to risk not even getting paid for it.
Yeah. And
the idea, he doesn't use this term or this phrase in his book, but you eat what you kill. So all of them were free to go chase after their dreams, like whatever problem they heard about in the government that they wanted to solve.
Yeah.
Go chase that, go do that. And so as they won these government contracts, they were then free to build out their lines of business within the company. And eventually it just, slow to start. And then it became so huge. They were doing contracts with NASA, solving things that had never been solved before. They're deeply ingrained in American lives, or just...
and we don't even know it.
Yeah, all over the world. They have changed the world, and we use things that they have created throughout this journey. That was the second time you almost died.
Yeah, this week.
That's awful. Awful. Glad you made it.
It's good to be here. Deferring getting paid as a founder.
If you would like to come work for me and not get paid, I have a job.
I have a job for you. I have a perfect position.
The perfect role.
But that is when you believe in something.
Yeah. And I love that he let people chase their within some guardrails.
For sure.
Chase their dreams there.
Yeah.
Just accountable for the numbers.
Right.
So.
And I love that because very much, I think Google kind of took on some of that, right? I see here at BAM. So there's this company, Tiger Industries, I believe.
Okay.
So they're a global company. They're in everything, right? Oil and gas, and they're investing all kinds of sectors everywhere. They're huge. Well, when the founder was coming up, and he worked till like he was in his 80s, I think, 80s or 90s. He let his people, developed his people so they could be business owners themselves.
I love that.
They helped him grow his company, just massively explode.
Do deals together.
Yeah. And then so when they're off to venture on their own, well, they're called cubbies, tiger
cubbies. They go off on their own.
Yeah, they go off on their own. And that's something that I want to incorporate within BAM is that BAM babies.
BAM babies.
Yeah. And so developing employees to be entrepreneurs.
I need a cute term for people that spin out of my company and
Cyber babies.
Cyber babies. That just sounds like something you don't want coming at you.
Right. Attack.
I'll chew on that for a little bit. But I love that concept. And, working for companies before, you do have to be protective of your intellectual property and things like that. But I tell my people all the time, I would be so proud and honored if you took what you learned here and if that's your calling to go use that to grow your own thing.
100%.
And then let's partner.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
There's value in everyone achieving their best.
Yes, there is. Right. It's not a competition.
Mm-mm.
It's, hey, how can we community create this honey?
It's not a competition, it's a community. I love it.
Because we're bees. We're
Yeah, let's make some honey.
Let's make some honey. Yeah.
I love that. Perfect.
I think that sounds like a good place to call it.
Let's go make some honey.
Let's go make some honey. So we're gonna be doing this at least once a month. We're gonna be talking
homework.
Yeah, we're gonna have homework every time.
Love
right?
it.
We're gonna come back with a different founder to focus on.
Okay.
Because it's founders focus.
I'm excited.
We're gonna talk about all the things that made them who they are. We'll have a list, right? We're gonna keep adding to that list. And if you're still listening to this, thank you. You guys rock. Yes. So give us some ideas. Do you have a particular founder you want us to focus on?
Something you're struggling with in business how did someone else overcome it?
Yes. Right. Do you know somebody who you would love to hear us interview? A founder, tag them, send them our way, give us their information. We'd love to.
We've got questions.
We got lots of questions. Well, I'd love to thank you, Miss Gina Lewis.
Thank you so much for having me again. It's a pleasure as always, and you changed my life for the better.
Well, thank you. And I think this is phenomenal. I was looking forward to this, and this was great. I'm looking forward to doing it again and again and again.
Always fresh, exciting.
Fresh, new, and exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, let us know your thoughts and who you'd like to see on here. And until next time, we're out.